lot of clouds out today. Nice day.
Yep.
Takes the heat down.
Yeah, and they're not even chem clouds either, which is a nice change since quite often we have chem clouds out here.
Yep.
These are actually really
Okay.
clouds. So,
What are we here for?
prepping.
Prepping.
We're talking
We're out
about
on my property right now, and
prepping.
we're going to do a quick interview. I think quick. I don't know. We'll find out.
We're going to have a chat on
a chat
on prepping and survival and various things.
Chat. I like that. That's good. And we're not even on the internet yet. No,
Yeah.
We're chatting. Yeah. New terminology. Whoa. But anyway, so I get you carried away here. Okay, go ahead.
Well,
I'll be nice.
Prepping. What do you mean prepping? You know, what do you need? What do people need to prepare for? How do they need to prepare? For what do they need to prepare?
So basically, the first thing you're
the whole
asking
point?
is why? What's the point? Why prepare? Well, realistically, the reason I do it is because I've done it all my life. Living on the Indian reservations and stuff, you stored food because you didn't know what was going to happen. You're kind of way out there in the middle of nowhere, and if something happened, back in the day it was commodities from the governments, deer, fish, venison, stuff like that, things you go hunt in the wild. You grow gardens, we all grew gardens and everything, and some of the hardest terrain there was. So I learned, early on about, being prepared for situations and survival, because I was really into hunting and fishing, and that's what got me interested in it. If I got out there in the woods and I ran out of matches, how did I start a fire? That was one thing. My first thing always how to keep warm, because I go out on hunting trips, and now they got the little hand warmers, you just open them up and you stay warm, but back in the day they didn't. But why prepare? I think that's an age-old question. Everybody prepared really until cities came to be, towns, where they had a store, or a blacksmith shop, or something else where you can go buy what you needed, and that started, in the 1760s to 1800, the industrial age kicked in, and then we could really, go to the stores and buy what you want because we harvested a lot from the world around us, nature. But, my grandparents prepared. I don't remember a time when any of my, and I'm 61, so we got to look at that. My grandparents, any of their houses that I went to, aunts, uncles, whatever, always had a stockpile of food somewhere. And that was for hard times, whether they got hurt at work or, let's say, a storm rolled in, of any type of storm, and we can talk about that later, but it's really important to understand that being prepared, then you don't, as I tell people, have to be scared. If I got hurt tomorrow, I know that I got enough stuff stored myself that I'd be okay for quite a while. We all know that and everything. Do I store everything on my property? No, not a wise decision. I have things here and there. But back on to the why prepare before I digress into something else. We have to look at our ancestors did that because winter time came. They only got their foods during the growing season back then. In the 17, 16, 15, 1400s. Wasn't refrigeration as we know it or anything like that. And you had to know how to preserve food, store food, things like that. In Europe right now, they don't put eggs in the freezer like we do in the U.S. They harvest them the right way and they put them on the shelf with the bread. And they last for quite a while. It's a really good thing that they do. So, there's some things that people could learn from preppers, really. A prepper or a survivalist really isn't an individual, because I'm kind of both. We know I teach survival and things of this nature. But doesn't mean you got to be wearing around camouflage all the time, carrying a big knife on your side and a gun. And, the only time you want to do that is they're trying to come through your front door. Really. You want to be an average person. You don't want people to know who you are, what you're doing. I mean, everybody knows me on radio shows and everything, so, I can't get away from that. Just the way it is. But let's say right now, wherever you are out there listening, tornado hit. Tore up the highways, tore everything up, you know what I mean? And no stores are open, and roadways are closed down, bridges are out. Are you ready with your family? And let's say you've got 2 kids, and a baby, and it doesn't matter race or any of this crap that people like to play on out there. If you've got your family and something happens, I mean, what the hell? What are you going to do? Are you ready right now? But
Yeah.
go ahead.
Well, one thing I'm thinking of too is things that are happening naturally. We're going through serious drought right now.
Mother Nature's kicking ass.
The drought is going to mean that agriculture is going to diminish.
Well, that's
They're
because
not
they
going to
can't
go
water their food.
exactly, which means the cost of food's going to go way, way up, and a lot of
Well,
people won't be able to afford to even buy a lot of food.
I did an interview with Lindsey Williams and everything, and he said that, and he's right, and this is what my elders told me. One day there's going to be plenty of food on the shelves, but you're not going to be able to afford it. And what you buy now, you don't have to buy later, so you're saving money anyway, and buy in bulk. Don't buy one box of this, buy a box. Buy something that has 4 boxes, 6 boxes in it. Keep a few in your cupboard, put the rest away. That's the way we look at it. And that goes for medicines. Let's say many people out there, I don't, you don't, and other people don't, have medications we have to take on a daily basis for our hearts or blood pressure or something like this.
Diabetes.
Diabetes, and most of that stuff is caused by bad diet, and beating your body, and not paying attention to your body. It's very important to take care of your own health, where it's going to cost you $100,000 at the doctor's office or $50,000, whatever. Then you're in debt. Another thing we talk about, don't buy anything on credit. We haven't bought anything on credit, maybe a car. That's something we knew wasn't going to be an issue, wasn't going to be a problem. That way you have what you have, and you don't owe anybody for it. They can't come and take it away from you. But, that's another aspect of prepping. Take care of everything. Don't use your credit. Nowadays, everybody thinks you got to build your credit up. Ladies and gentlemen, we might be facing an economic, collapse here in October. The International Monetary Fund is going to make a decision on what new currency is going to be the secondary currency, reserve currency, shall we say, of the world. And the dollar is right now, So prepare ahead of time. Buy stuff, store it, stuff you can use, stuff that'll last, very important. But let's say you had a pandemic and everything also. Out here we'd be pretty good, because we don't see a lot of people. Nobody comes through our door. You got to get through, the fence areas and stuff like that. So nobody's going to just sneak on your property with your security and stuff. And security, by the way, is another video, but very simple. Won't cost you $1,000 at all, guaranteed. But a pandemic is something you don't want to go to town. You want to quarantine yourself. So why prepare? You see where I'm going here?
Right.
Why prepare? Oh, everything's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. Prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Really, that's what our grandparents said. With the food that they stored, once it got to a certain point, if they didn't use it, they also farmed it out to the relatives and the neighbors that didn't have as much as they did. And so it helped the community over a period of time. The old Victory Gardens, we all need them now. Look at the price of food from 2 years ago to now. You take $100 down to the store, what, 3 bags?
If you're lucky.
Really? All of you out there that might be on food stamps, living on substances, you know exactly what I'm talking. And now you go to these dollar stores and you see Mercedes-Benz sitting out front, Cadillacs, and Escalades and all this stuff, all these high-class cars, Give me a simple vehicle, I'll keep it going forever, and that's all I need. I don't need a brand new one every year, Live within your means. That's part of preparation, too. A lot of people don't know about that. But if a pandemic comes in, like I was saying, or martial, riots in cities where you guys all live in the city, something happens, boom, you're going to get locked down. Especially with the police forces nowadays, National Guard and Homeland Defense, and something happens, everybody shows up. It isn't
Martial
just
law is going to be commonplace eventually.
Well, they're desensitizing us right now, getting us ready for that. There's no doubt about that. Jade Helm, good example of that. That's just an operation, but they're reconnoitering. The Bundy Ranch, the situation in Oregon where they held off the BLM and the BLM walked away because militias came in. Well, what do you think this Jade Helm is for? We're going to see how mass areas of the public are going to react to them. They're going to be running around with everybody, trying to blend in with you. But let me tell you something. If you don't know somebody for 2 years and somebody new comes up to you and they look military, they smell military or cop, and they act that way, think about it. You know what I mean? Usually, just like these big protests they have instigators in there. So be careful of instigators and things of this nature. I personally haven't ran into any because I know everybody around me and the people that I deal with. And I don't go outside my area unless they get to know you pretty good, you know. So that's part of prepping too, in a sense, you know. Pay attention to those around you, your situations, and we're not talking paranoia. Give me my gun, you know, this type of stuff. Or common sense, you know. Those of us that have been in the military and in combat, and we see certain things other people don't, you know. But you can train yourself to do that, even if you haven't been in anything. You know, you really can. Be aware. If martial law comes in on any type of situation, they can't control the whole country. They can control pockets. You know, let's say Jade Helm got out of hand, or people got out of hand in Jade Helm, and you know, the first time in history our special forces are doing operations in our own country. Think about that too, you know. Let's say it gets out of hand, you know, and we know about the FEMA camps and everything else, and the Walmarts signed on with the government a long time ago, several years ago. I talked about it on the radio show. So martial law kicks in. They can't shut everything down. It's impossible. They don't have the manpower. And the UN, you know, they're the first ones you got to watch out for. They don't know you. They want to go home. They want to go home safe to their families too. You know what I mean? Get a better chance of getting shot from a foreign troop on our land. And that's what the UN is.
Right.
Than you are your own people. That's about the best way to put it. Not saying that our own military, certain aspects of our own military won't go against its citizens, but I wouldn't want to be you, if that's the case. Eventually, you're going to get got. There's video of everything out there nowadays, you know, so that's a two-way street, you know, with law enforcement and military and everything. And thank God Congress and everything enacted it's a situation where we could film everything, you know. It's very important. But you know, we were talking about prepping, and we're just throwing a lot of things out here, you know.
Yep.
And that's okay, because that's what people need to understand. It's a mindset, it's a lifestyle, and you're not paranoid. You know, you're aware of what's going on, you see what's going on, but you still live your life. You get together, you grow a garden, you get together with your neighbors or your family, and you can food, and in the middle of winter you have your waffles or pancakes with fresh blueberry spread, you know, that you canned the year before. That's fantastic. And learn some of these old arts that are dying. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
So, you know, in prepping, in a sense, you're living the old-fashioned way in a modern society. And by doing that, you're cutting your bills down.
Right.
And the stuff that you store, food, you know, your emergency lighting stuff, flashlights, things like this. And I say go LEDs all the way, you know, diodes. That's the best way to light. It takes very little power to make a lot of light, actually, and for a long period of time. I have one light. I put batteries in it once a month, and I use it every single night, you know. And I get out sky watch, you know, and everything, and with my telescopes and everything, and that light gets a lot of use, but it'll light up the entire area. Like behind me at nighttime, that's no problem. You've seen my light. I click it on. It's only about this long and about that big around. Tactical light, boom, shows you everything. Plus it flashes, so it's kind of a diffuser. If somebody's trying to come up on you at nighttime or something, you hit them like that, they're blind, and you keep moving with it. It's a strobe type situations for defensive purposes, you know, and that's what you use it for. But you start learning things. You start actually living your life, and that's the key here. So really, that's what the thing is. See, when it comes to prepping and everything, you want to get a disaster plan going. First thing is, have 3 other places you can go beside your place. Second is, you know, and talk to these people. Second, I said this on other videos. Second thing, in your bug out bag, make sure each one of you and your family member got a bag with 3 days of supply to a week. I always use a week of food in there, because you're going to be able to get water and stuff pretty much anywhere. That's on other videos that I'll be doing too. Also, you want to make sure that your vehicle has a spare tire, things like this, set in your garage, or maybe in your car all the time. Extra oil, a gallon of water in there, antifreeze, whatever. You know, things your car needs, duct tape, electrical tape, you know, small tool kit, tire plugs, and a 12-volt electric air compressor. You could go anywhere, you know. I pulled bolts out of my tires, and back roads in the middle of nowhere. Put a plug in it real quick, ask them about it at any auto store, a little air compressor, and I was on the road in 20 minutes. Less than that, actually, 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes.
Make sure you always have a jack, too.
A jack, well, you know, that's common. Maybe not for some, it's common sense stuff. But, you know, there's a lot of areas of the prepping and everything, and hell, we live life too, you know. We have grandkids, we have friends, we go to the movies, we go out to eat, we have barbecues, which we have to go to this afternoon too. I mean, we still live life, we have a good time, and we're not worrying about, oh my God, they're going to roll in on us today, you know, the government or the feds or anything. There's no need for that. You see the signs, you'll know what's going to happen before, you know. Your average person knows what's going on in the United States right now with the media and everything, mainstream media. You'll never hear the truth. But some of them are starting to open up, you know, in the police brutalities and things, and the Jade Helm things that are going on. Governor of Texas is saying, what's going on? You know, and he's ordering the National Guard to watch him, you know. I mean, come on. You know, it's something ain't right, but it's not I don't see it as a straight up martial law grab. But they are reconnoitering, they are checking things out, seeing how you're going to react. Think about that and react appropriately, not the way they want you to, you know. But your disaster planning is very important. So food, find the foods you like, find the foods that last a long time too. You know, I say get dehydrated stuff or freeze-dried. You know, I've got a little of both. The reason I'm dehydrated is what I've been dehydrated at home. Lasts for years upon years. A little moisture, boom, and throw a little meat, a little dehydrated onions or garlic, whatever you have together, and ooh, you've got some good stuff, you know. So, and do it every once in a while. We like to once a month, either wildcraft out of the woods, you know, for a food, just to do it, to keep in touch with what's going on and how to do it and familiarize ourselves with possible new plants and new foods, you know, wild foods. And once a month have a meal out of your emergency food storage and your gear, you know. Great thing about your bug out bag is this: you want to go camping, you don't have to pack. You're done. Grab your bag, throw in a car, sleeping bag, you're gone. You don't have to go to the store and do this and do that. You say, I want to go. You grab it, throw it in your vehicle, and you go for 3 to 7 days. You got everything you need. So basically, that prepping is just being prepared for regular life, you know. And if something should go crazy, World War III, a major fire, what we went through out here, and, you know, fighting 14 hours, fighting fire before the fire department even got here. And we had to stay in here a week, because if we left, we couldn't come back in, you know, and our supplies and everything got us through. Yeah, not only us, other people, you know, so it's very important to think about that. When you prepare, you can actually help your neighbors in your neighborhood in case of disasters. And the 8,000-acre fire ripped right through here at 30, 40 miles an hour, and we could only start to control it at nighttime. But we were able to. We saved a lot of structures, and that's your neighborhood working together. So you local people all get together and come up with some plans and some ideas, and grow your gardens and can your foods and work together. You know, get your community going. So if something happened, no matter what it is, you can still function. Wood burning stoves are a good thing to have. Camp stoves. Learn about how to make syngas. Learn how to make all kinds of stuff. You know, get out there and hit YouTube and learn. I mean, I'm going to be making a lot of videos on it, but that's what's a preparedness thing. And you know, we wanted to sit down and do a quick audio on this and video on this today, just to let you know that, man, you could, you know, be a banker and be preparing. You know, a nurse, a doctor, you know, police. All these people do prepare. You know, while you're average.
It doesn't matter your economic.
No, it doesn't
spot,
really.
You know, I mean,
it used to, you know, but then they come out with like the Dollar Tree or the dollar store, or, you know, some place where you know, we call them the dented canned food stores, discount foods, you know, stuff of this nature, and you can go in there and for $1 a piece, you know, get food all day long. You know, you take $100 down there, you get 100 items. If they're food items, there's no tax. That's the key right there. So think about that. You know, you want to store soaps and personal hygiene stuff, you know, weapons and some ammo. And I'm not saying, you know, 50 calibers to shoot your neighbor. I'm saying something you can hunt and survive with. Fishing gear, you know, things of this nature. Now, there's people that do take it all the way to large caliber and military type stuff, but your average person, come on, you don't need to. You know, if bad shit's heading your way, get the fuck out of Dodge. You know, really, don't stay there. You know, when martial law comes, you have 3 things you can do. You can boogie, you know, go stay at Aunt Jane's or Uncle Tom's, you know. You can stay there and deal with it. Look at Katrina, you know, Sandy, what they did there, you know. A lot of people just stayed there and hung through it, and those who didn't die, made it through it, and they're stronger people because they know what to expect now from martial law.
Right.
It isn't nice, or you can resist it. I wouldn't say running right out there with your AK or your AR-15 and start resisting, because they're just going to run a tank over your butt, and that's all they're going to be to it. You shoot at somebody, they're going to shoot back whether they're American or not. You know what I mean? So think about it. You got to see their demeanor. They're going to come in anyway. And to take out, 5, 10, 15, 20, you guys ain't going to make no big deal. Plus all you militias and everybody, the Fed's got your names already. Like the California militias and everything, and these guys up here in Redding and stuff, I walked in and told one guy, remember that day? All you guys are on a federal list, you're militia members, and they checked it out, and they found out I was right after doing a show on that particular type of subject. If you're going to do something and band together, small teams, work together, practice together, then get other small teams. Don't register as militia or anything like that. You're a marked person. You'll be in a camp in no time at all when martial law really cracks down and you're on a list, and they know that you're going to be a integral part of resisting. They're going to come and check you out. You can bank on that. So where else do we want to go with this?
Well, when
Personal
it comes...
medicines, though, I do have to say, I want to jump back on that. Personally, and we are jumping around a lot because we just got a short period of time, really. Personal medications, get some extras, put them away. If you're going to go on a trip, or if you think something's coming, talk to your doctor. Tell him you're going to go on a 60-day, 90-day trip somewhere, and have him issue the medication for that.
And a lot of places, just to say, is that there are a lot of places that like mail-in places, a lot of times they will already they'll give you 90 days worth of medication off the top anyway, a lot of places.
Yeah, a lot of places in the mail you can send, get your scripts, you need your legitimate prescriptions. Let these companies know, and you do it through the internet and everything, and they'll send you 90 days at a time. A lot of them will. You let them know what's up. And, you could be traveling, in a foreign country, and they don't have a Walmart or a Walgreens where you can go get your stuff right away. You're out in the outback somewhere, So it's very important that you have that. Heart medications, diabetic medications, things like this. Get your diets right, things like that. Start eating right, make yourself healthier, and the less you'll need these type of things, unless you push yourself too far already, that's it. But plan, something, and believe it or not, people out there, kids love to do this stuff. They love to get the stuff out and put it in stacks and date it, and you know what you got, and make their packs, and then you go camping, and they have a blast, and then you put more stuff in your pack and get ready. Then you get to get ready for summer and winter, because you change your pack a little bit, you know what I mean, for the seasons. I do anyway. I like to keep on top of my stuff.
Well, you should, because you're going to need different kinds of foods and different kinds of supplies in each type of
Another thing that we haven't really talked about is communications, with prepping. Now, we have the little handheld radios, the little AM, FM things, and also have CB radios, and also have shortwave radios, but we have Faraday, can, as we call it, you put extra radios in there, so we have a kind of like two of whatever we have, and we put the other ones away and store them. And so if we get an EMP or something like that, we're still in business. And get a car before 1964. Get away from that electronic ignition.
Yeah, exactly.
Get away from the computers. The technology that's out there now is astounding, to say the least, of what they can do. And cell phones, I don't have a smartphone, any of that. And I've tried to keep a cell phone several times, and I just don't use them, don't like them, I call somebody, I'll call them from, a landline somewhere, borrow somebody else's phone, or my wife's, or, my daughter's, or something like that, so I'm always different numbers. I do have personal numbers, that I use on a regular basis for business and for counseling people and helping them out and things, and in teaching, radio shows. I use Skype all the time. You can use the technologies. There's great technologies out there. Find that fine blend of old-fashioned ways and modern technology. Get with the program. That's the key. If you can like the candlelight, and you like the nice old-fashioned homes and stuff, fantastic. Your communications can be light speed over the internet. I can talk across the planet just like that on Skype you know, or instant message anybody, anywhere, anytime. But also, I have my shortwave radios for long distance, you know, and you have different meters, to, you know, 2 meter, 10 meter, you know, 20 meter, blah, blah, blah. You know, I got a lot of them up there. And CB radios for local, within, you know, 5 miles or more. And can do that. But we just want to touch base on this little video here. And say, man, you know, just because you want to, if you're thinking of being a prepper and everything, go ahead and do it. And don't worry about that. So enjoy doing it too. Get your family, get your friends into it and stuff. But stay within your group. You know, don't let a lot of people out there that don't know what's going on know what's going on. And with that said, I think that's about it. We might do another video a little bit later. But this is one we wanted to practice and throw together. And it's we'll see how it turns out. If we like it, we'll just throw it out there so you guys can see it. But we want you to understand that live life, love life. Create. You know, you have your families and everything. Bring them closer together. Remember anger and all this other stuff. It's how we react to a situation that either makes it good or bad. You know, so we want to look down inside of ourselves and realize that we don't have to go off all the time or anything like that. Okay, that's it. We'll do a different one. I coughed and my rib hurt.